The 2021 NBA Draft might be one of the most talented drafts ever. So it's time to take a look at a few of the rookies and how they did in the Summer League. While it's not a surefire predictor of how they'll do in the regular season, there is plenty of evidence to interpret. So let's look at Davion Mitchell, Cade Cunningham, and Jalen Green to see how ready they are for the big time and whether they have enough ability to turn their respective franchises around. The first words that come to mind when watching Davion Mitchell is unintimidated. This guy went after two Celtics in Carson Edwards and Peyton Pritchard as if they were the rookies and he was the veteran. He's got a nasty combination of shiftiness and explosiveness. Check the hesitation skip dribble with the left hand that gets Pritchard stuck on his hip, but then the presence of mind to slow himself down, use a veer step with the right foot to create space, let Pritchard fly by, and then softly bank the layup in. Even when he missed, you could see the confidence in this pinch post action as he hits Pritchard with the left to right through the legs, threatening a middle drive, and then a nice hop that got him plenty of space, although his toe was in the line and that ended up short. What we do know from his last year in college is that he can light it up from behind the arc, and he continued to scorch it from the deeper three-point line in the Summer League, nailing 47% of them. The isolation off the dribble variety could be the toughest three to make in the NBA, and Mitchell might very well become the guy who the Kings rely on in end-of-quarter situations. And if you don't pick him up in transition early enough, he will certainly drop the three ball on your head, making him a bona fide threat from day one in the NBA. When going through all these players' clips, I find myself going down a rabbit hole, sometimes staying up all night just studying what they're doing on the court. You might find yourself doing the same thing. And now you can earn extra money when watching Netflix, or if you're up late at night and can't sleep, by signing up for Opinion Outpost. After answering a few questions, you'll accrue points for answering surveys based on your interests. When you earn enough points, that translates into cash. So you can get stuff like this outdoor clock I just bought with my extra money. Signing up is as quick as Davion Mitchell's explosive first step, and payout is just as fast at either PayPal or Amazon gift cards. So, click on the link in the description below and you'll be earning extra cash just like Cade Cunningham, as he will no doubt hit the ground running once the NBA season starts. Davion reminds me a lot of another Mitchell, Donovan, and out of the pick and roll, he was generating a lot of threes. I like how he uses a quick two-bounce combo through the legs before stepping back for an extra few inches to space before splashing this bomb in his defender's eye. In drop coverage, if the big doesn't step up to the three-point line, expect a lot of jumpers. Watch how he creates a dip after the float dribble to ensure power generation and proper rhythm, as this shot is pure. My favorite part of his jump shot is when he lifts both feet in the air on the gather and hops into the shot. Going to his left means he's already aligned his shooting hip and elbow to the hoop, and he's got great rhythm and calibration already. The one area he struggles is finishing in the lane. At 6'2", he's not quite long or tall enough to easily elevate over NBA-sized help defenders. You'll see great off-the-dribble moves to get him by the defender, but the shots that went down in college are more easily swatted in the pros. After forcing the switch out of the pick and roll and isolating against the big, I love the skip dribble to the right into an explosive crossover, but he gets caught improvising and drifting to his left, shooting with his right floater right into the defender's contest. And on this attack of the drop coverage, he tries to stretch out into the inside hand finish, but he's just not long enough to get this off against defenders who are at least 6 inches taller than him. An interesting part of his game is how willing he is to use a multi-dribble attack into a mid-range shot. I wonder if there's a thawing of the anti-long two-point shot crusade we've seen take hold of the NBA over the past 10 years. Based on the struggles I suspect he'll have when getting all the way to the rim, I wonder if these shots will end up being higher percentage looks for him. After all, trying to teardrop a floater 14 feet into the air when you're 6'2" is all manner of difficult. He's got no problem with his handle and explosiveness creating space, so I feel good about these types of looks, and if he continues to train them, then I suspect his percentage will be viable. I also think once he gets on the court with 4 other legit pros, you'll see more of his passing ability. Check this gorgeous hammer play as the weak side forward back screens a cutter to the corner, and the fact that Mitchell can throw this on the money with his left hand speaks to his incredible skill. I caught another nice lefty pass on the break that generated this open three, so Luke Walton won't have to worry about designing certain plays only to one side. Mitchell can handle with his left or right hand equally well. Let's move on to Cade Cunningham, and the one word I'd use to describe him is impressive. At 6'8", he's got the size to see over the defense and the skills of a lead guard. The Pistons are going to be a real problem sooner than later with all their young talent, and I suspect Cunningham will be the best of the bunch. His shooting is what immediately stands out, nailing 50% of his threes in Summer League. There might be some who will question his mechanics with the acute angle of his elbow and two-motion shot and low set point, but I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and say it's something he can replicate and get off at his size without his percentage dropping too much. He might not get over 40% this year from three, but I would expect him to be at least average. And he can also isolate off the dribble and find long-range shots, where you'll see him utilize the hop to get a quicker release and better energy transfer. He ran the pick and roll well, looking very polished with his handle and vision. And if you try to go under the screen or get caught and the big man is dropped too far, he can make you pay dearly for that mistake. He still needs to gain more core strength and flexibility, as evidenced by a bump that sends him off balance, but he quickly recovers, gets going downhill, and I'm impressed he even tried this shot with his left hand. And while I'm sure he'll work to increase strength, I did catch this strong drive where he got creative to fight between two defenders to get this ball up and in off the glass softly. I really like how he used his body to seal off the defender and provide a target for the inbounds pass, more evidence of his polished game. And while all these young guys could stand to improve their finishing, and no doubt will improve as they adjust to the bigger, stronger, faster athletes in the NBA, there isn't a doubt in my mind Cunningham is going to be a future all-star and three-level scorer. At his size, he could even develop into a LeBron type of player who puts maximum pressure on the defense with his shot-making ability. If this is his floor at age 19, then I expect his ceiling to be ridiculously high, and Pistons fans should get ready to start celebrating. That brings us to Jalen Green, the straight-to-the-G League shooting guard phenom, and I would think a year with professional players would have given him a leg up on much of the competition at Summer League. Well, I think it's safe to say he's still got a ways to go. He is the most raw of the three players we're looking at today, but there's no question there is a lot of potential. He only played 3 games, but posted ridiculous shooting splits, and he certainly can make shots from beyond the arc. However, his unpolished game came out with some of his turnovers. He doesn't read the floor all that well while driving to the hoop, leading to forced passes into tight spaces, and I suspect he might avoid even trying some of these passes altogether in favor of more possibilities of getting the shot off himself. His handle needs to continue to improve so he can utilize the dribble attacks he wants to at the NBA level. And I think he needs more experience in games to improve spatial awareness and decision making. If he has time to get comfortable off the dribble and to pull up threes, that's when he'll be at his best. But I don't think the timing of his arm swing up in conjunction with when his knees extend into the jump is very consistent, which leads me to believe he could struggle with three-point shooting against real NBA defense. While we saw some evidence of struggle at the rim against NBA-style defenders, he does have unconventional off-foot finishes and inside-hand shots that, when polished more fully, will help him score around the basket during the regular season. And there are the impressive highlights like this highly contested step-back three, which makes you think he's gonna be a real handful in a couple of years. Stay tuned for lots more coverage of the NBA, including a Knicks preview and a video on LiAngelo Ball's play in the Summer League. Don't forget to click on the link below to earn extra cash with Opinion Outpost, and keep your eye on these 3 guys, since they each have the power to create their own League Pass alerts.